Alrighty then. Let's see, just going to give it a minute or two here. Just checking audio levels, which is what I was doing before, but now we're live, so it's going to be a little different. Boy, there is a big delay. There's about a 10 to 15 second delay between what you guys see and what I see. So just let me know if you can hear me all right. Audio is good. Okay, so I'm going to mute that. I'm going to take my headphones off, put them over there. Just wait for a few more people to start bouncing in here, and then we'll start answering some questions, hopefully. This is like day 30, 28, 15 or something of coronavirus lockdown. Great. So what's up, everybody? It's up there, 411 now. How are you? What's up, Jack? Boy, I hope, man, I gotta check and make sure my desktop audio is not popping in here. And it figures as soon as I start the stream, the furnace kicks in. Let's see here. Okay, good. All right, so audio is good. Background noise is the furnace. Windows computer sounds are not popping on into the stream at all, which is good. Latency is a bit high on this. It's about a 15-second delay, like I said earlier. What's up there, James? How's the weather down in Georgia? And all the weather here is cloudy, cool, and breezy, with chance of rain showers. Here in good old Northeast Pennsylvania. Hello, William. Down in the Florida Keys. How are you? Got the engine pulled out of your Yamaha G1 last night. This lockdown is boring as hell. Oh, yeah, it is boring. Yes, it is. On a plus side, trying to find the positives in all this, at least I'm getting a lot of things done. Hey, there's a fly in here. Well, not anymore. At least I'm getting things done that I normally wouldn't have been able to do. You know, getting a lot of things done in the garden and all that stuff. It's been nice. But at the same time, I'd rather be working. It's unfortunate, but you know. About the same, huh, James? Yeah. Yeah, I'm ready for some really nice weather to be here. It was really nice yesterday and Monday. The sun was out, it was nice and warm. I was actually able to be in a t-shirt outside. It was great. It was really great. Let me move this chat box over a little bit so it's much easier for me to see what I'm doing. Now catch a fly with the chopsticks? Not that good. I'm pretty decent with chopsticks, but I'm not good enough to catch a fly. I'd probably end up stabbing myself in the eye or something. I used to do that all the time when I was a kid, kind of catch flies in the air with my hand. 86 feels like 97. Must be humid. I couldn't even tell you what it is outside. Here, let's see. It is... See, I don't use weather apps. I actually monitor my own weather station. It is 50 degrees, 50.7. So let's call it 51. And cloudy. And windy. Well, breezy. It's not windy, it's breezy. Let's see. Well, we had a high gust today of 9 miles per hour. Though that doesn't update as frequently as I wish it did, but that's all right. All right, so it looks like we got a few people in here. You guys have any golf cart questions? We can get a little bit of a show going here. We're probably going to run for about an hour, 45 minutes to an hour today. I do have to make a trip up and pick up the stick cylinder, or the boom cylinder for my excavator. And that's a good hour drive. So I figured I would do a stream before I went up, and because that'll be a 2 hour. I'll be gone for 2 hours just doing that. Thankfully, though, I don't have to get out of the truck, because what I'll do is I'll get to the place, call them up on the phone when I'm out in the parking lot, and say I'm here. Give them my credit card number over the phone, and then they'll come out and load the cylinder right in the back of the truck, so I won't even have to interact with anybody, which is awesome. Which is awesome. 59 there in Washington State. With rain. Yeah, we're going to be getting rain today. We had a little bit of rain last night. We're supposed to be getting some thunderstorms. I'm hoping for a really good thunderstorm. I know some people don't like thunder and lightning, but I love thunderstorms. They're ever since I'm a kid, I've loved thunderstorms. They're one of my favorite things in the summer. Torrential downpours, not crazy about those, but I do love some thunderstorms. Now, let's see, Jack. I don't know why it held your message for review here. Oh, probably because you have crack in there, I bet. All right, let me show it. So you have a small crack in your air intake hose along the inside bend. Can I silicone that crack, or should I buy a new hose? It's going to depend on the condition of the rest of the hose. If it's hard and brittle, I would get another one. Depending on what cart it is. Typically with stuff like that, if it's starting to crack, it's not long to the planet where it's going to start falling apart the rest of the way, and you might as well just get one. I mean, if you order one now, it'll probably take a month to get to you, so silicone wouldn't be a bad idea, but I would take it out of the cart. Make sure it's... you would be better off probably just wrapping it in duct tape if you have intentions of replacing it. If you don't want to replace it, then I don't know. It all depends. The silicone and the rubber and gasoline and air and all that stuff mixing under there, it just doesn't get along. It probably won't hold up. I would just replace it. Hey, Mr. D, how are you? What is the best lithium battery conversion for a 2018 club car Precedent? I have no clue. I haven't had an opportunity to mess with lithium yet. It is the way carts are going to be going. Lead acid batteries are going to be starting to disappear out of a lot of the newer carts. Probably, I'm going to say this year. Well, maybe not this year. Who knows now? Probably more like next year we'll start seeing that stuff being more popular. Is there any difference between the axles... or a difference in the axles between the electric and gas golf cart? Yes. Some of them there are, some of them there are not. It depends on your make and model. I don't have all of that information off the top of my head, but I could look it up if you have a specific make and model that you're curious about. The electrics usually have a shorter passenger side shaft, half shaft, where the gas isn't. The gases are almost equal length, depending on the make and model, because the electric motor on electric carts offsets the transaxle that much by, you know, a good 13-14 inches. So usually the passenger side or the driver's side, again, depending on your make and model, will have a shorter half shaft on that side. Usually the longer side is underneath the electric motor. Gas, depending, again, the half shafts could be equal length, or they could be, one could be an inch shorter than the other. It really depends. As far as diameter and splines go, usually it's not a matter of how they mate to the transaxle. It's usually the length that determines their difference. Usually. Some of them actually, the splines on the outside by the brake drums too. Unless they're a newer E-Z-Go, then they don't have splines in a brake drum. That'll be a little bit of a difference too. It's really hard to say without knowing the year, make, and model. But back to your topic there, William. I've been looking at some of the lithium. I don't want to really say conversion kits, but I've seen some DIY things out there with lithium, and there's some pretty amazing stuff. Obviously, the lithium packs. I mean, you can get buku amounts of power in the same footprint as a lead acid battery pack. I mean, you could drive that thing for probably a good day, solid day, on a full charge if you had a battery pack that was exactly the same physical size in lithium to replace the lead acid pack. And they would charge a lot faster too. That's one thing that I like about the lithium systems, is they have a wider state of charge range versus lead acid. Where lead acid, you take a 12 volt battery, it's technically dead at 12 volts, but it's fully charged. Now, depending on deep cycle or standard automotive battery, it could be anywhere from 12.8 to 13.2 volts, depending on brand and quality and condition of the lead and a whole other bunch of factors, temperature and all that stuff. Where lithium can go from typically 95% down to, what, 40%, 30%? You get to use a wider range of the available energy in a lithium pack, which is really nice. There's a lot of stuff on the lithium side that I'm not 100% sure on. I haven't really paid much attention to it, but I do know there's a lot of benefits. There's a lot of disadvantages as well. Where's the best place to buy a rebuilt kit for an E-Z-Go 295? I sell those. I'm obviously, anytime you guys are going to ask me questions on the best place to buy it, I'm obviously going to refer you back to my store, my website, kevinsgolfcarts.com. I am a Red Hawk dealer. I am a Nivell parts dealer. I'm not going to send you to anywhere else but my store. Unless I can't get it, don't have it, or it's not available. For obvious reasons. Let's see. I could actually... Let's see if I can... I'll find out in a moment here. I'm going to bump this out. Cover and chat over for a second, so bear with me. Now, depending on how far deep you want to go into the rebuild and what parts you need. I mean, if you don't need an entire kit and you just need pistons and rings, it's really not that expensive. Okay, that site's not working. All right, I'll have to check it later. But as far as, like, it all really depends on what is bad. It's hard to, if you get a complete rebuild kit, I mean, you're going to be upwards of $300, $400, $500. If you're doing a complete, now I mean a full-on engine rebuild but the block is good, and you're replacing everything, you're going to be upwards of $1,100-$1,200, maybe more. Crankshaft, camshaft, connecting rod, piston, rings, valve guide seals, crank seals, camshaft seals. There's a whole, them engines have a lot of little tiny bits and pieces. Let's see here. For lithium, the battery management system, or BMS, is just as important as the motor you select. Yes, it is. There's a lot of factors that go into play with any electric cart when you're changing out stock and factory components for aftermarket or high performance stuff. It's not just as simple as say, I want to make this cart go faster. It's like, well, you gotta upgrade your battery cables. You have to upgrade your controller, change out your motor. You can go DC to DC, where you have a DC battery pack, DC controller, DC motor, or you can go DC AC, which is basically a conversion on older carts where you have DC battery pack, an AC inverter controller, and a 3-phase electric motor, which is AC. Those are a lot more efficient as far as drive times and all that stuff. No, there's no mechanical connection between, okay, so in a DC motor, there's brushes. You have carbon brushes inside the motor, which actually physically connect the electric contacts inside, from the outside of the motor to the armature, to the stator. Oh, wait, no, not the stator. The armature and the commutator. The armature is the spinny bit, the commutator is the connecty bit, and the stator is the coils on the outsidey bit that are inside the bit. Where the 3-phase electric motor is an induction AC motor. So there's no mechanical, physical connection between electronics. It's induction. Magnetic and stuff, and bits and all that fun jazz. Yeah. It can get really technical. I'm going to try to keep it simple. Let's see here. Club Car makes a pack, but you have to get a repack. What is that? Oh, replacement. Okay. 4 12 volts instead of 6 8 volt. Well, I don't like I don't like the 4 12 volt packs. The 6 8s are definitely going to give you a better run time, which is unfortunate. I mean, unless you're going 412 on the lithium you're talking about lithium, right? Yeah, okay, you're talking about the lithium stuff. Yeah, your 412s is fine then, on that way. But if you're going, because I don't think they make 6 and 8 volt lithium packs. I think they're only 12 and 24, and they go in increments of 12 for golf carts and stuff like that, like the RV industry. I know they make 2 volt batteries that are lithium for larger scale systems, but like I said, as far as the lithium stuff, I haven't really been following too much of it. Let's see, James says, I got an 89 EasyGo full smoke, full stroke. So you mean 4-stroke, I'm assuming. It runs, it just won't go nowhere. The rarest, I can't read that, it's over there too far. Let me move this over. I don't have my glasses on, so I can't see it. And plus YouTube, oh, hang on a second. Let's switch this around here. I hate YouTube's live streaming stuff now. It is terrible. Every time you do a new live stream, I have to enter a new stream key, which I understand is probably for security stuff, but I hate this. I don't like this dark mode. I wish it would switch back over to live mode here. Let's see. Can we turn off dark mode? I'll be right back in the comments here. Hang on a second, guys. No, apparently you can't turn off dark mode, which is dumb. YouTube, you guys suck. Your live stream sucks. See, dark backgrounds and white text, it bothers my eyes, and I don't like it. It's really hard for me to read it. All right, let's go back in here. Let's get back in here again. Hey, what's up there, Jason? Yeah, back at it again. I'm going to be doing a lot of live streaming, hopefully. Whatever you do, don't cross streams. All right, let's see. Let me try your question again here, James. I got an 89 EasyGo. I'm going to assume a 4-stroke. It runs. It just won't go nowhere. The rarest got like it's got 2 spins, like something stripped out back. Okay, I don't really follow what you're asking. Try to clarify it for me. Let's see. Gunshy 204. I have a 2007 Yamaha Drive. The hub and axle are stripped on the driver's side. Can I just weld the hub on the axle? Sure. If you want, you can. You won't be able to get it off ever again. Especially if you have an issue internally. Anything's possible. Where is the fill plug on a 2004 electric differential? A 2004 what? Can only see a drain plug. Boy, I wish I could turn off this dark mode. Let me do a quick Google search. Oh, darn. Turn off dark mode live. If any of you guys live stream on YouTube and you know how to turn off dark mode, I'd appreciate. Well, apparently that's a problem that a lot of people are having. I understand there's not a lot of people in a lot of places in a lot of different areas of the country right now because of this coronavirus. But they really dropped the ball on this. This YouTube studio sucks so bad. It has got to be the worst experience. I always switch back to the classic studio or classic YouTube when I'm uploading and editing videos on the platform. I just don't like this new setup. And I like change. I don't mind change. It's just that the way they have this laid out, it's like they rushed it. All right, let's see here. Oh, rear end just spins and makes a whining noise. And voice text don't like my southern drawl. Yeah, it's... Voice to text, they don't like accents at all. Or dialect or anything. Let's see, what do you have? You have an 89 Easy Go. You probably have... I'm going, without really diving into it, I'm going to assume that you have a stripped out drive axle. One of the half shafts is, well, I should say a brake drum. The Easy Goes are well known for the brake drums. They're just cast, so the splines on the drum have a tendency of stripping out if the axle nut isn't tight enough. It requires a lot of torque on those to prevent them from stripping. Let's see. 04 Club Car DS smokes, new head gasket, 145 psi, compression, no oil in the intake. Is the oil too full? If you put too much oil in it, they will smoke. You can't overfill those engines. 04 Easy Go electric. Okay, so you're talking about the drain and fill. We were talking about this last live stream where some of these fill and drain plugs are. Off the top of my head, I can't remember. I'd have to get under there and look. No, a quart low. You could have bad valve guide seals. Piston, oil rings on the piston could be shot. You could still have good compression with warp piston rings in some cases. PCV, well, you said there's no oil in the intake. I don't know. So that's something that's really difficult to diagnose without really getting into it, without actually pulling a bunch of stuff apart and checking it out myself. I mean, if the spark plug is... new head gasket. I don't know. That could be, that literally could be anything. Yeah, you could have oil in the muffler. That's true too. If it was ever overfilled, or there's so many different reasons why the engine could be smoking. Those engines have, let's see, I'm trying to think internally now. They're a pressure lube system. They basically have a little oil pump. It's not a splash lubrication like the Yamahas, but the club car engines, the E-Z-GO engines, the Kawasaki and the Robin engines. The Kawasaki is used in the newer E-Z-GOs. Different iteration of that engine is used in the club car. They both use pressure lubrication. So yeah, it could be you're getting pressure, something, oil's leaking past something somewhere, and it's burning in the cylinder head, or in the cylinder. So it could be internal. Let's see here. My eye is twitching a little bit because of this dark mode garbage. Oh, furnace is back on again. What kind of puller to get the clutch off? You're going to need a clutch puller tool for that year cart, for that make and model. How long to get the oil out? It's going to depend. I mean, if that's your problem, you got to get that muffler good and hot by driving it. If that's not your problem, then I really can't say exactly why it's smoking without really diving into it, without seeing the internal condition of the engine. It's hard to say. I mean, because if you have bad rings, oil will leak by. It'll still have good, you could have good compression when there's oil in there. It's called a wet compression test, and that might be where you're getting your good compression from. Let's see here. What do the two micro switches do when you put it into service mode? One micro switch does, all that does is the backup alarm. Is my audio playing? No. One micro switch is for the backup alarm. The other one is what enables the ignition system. Well, actually, it's the start circuit, because when you are in when you're in normal mode and you're in forward or reverse, it's what allows the signal. It allows the signal, I'm going to call it a signal, to get down to the solenoid. It's not really a signal, it's just a current path. It's a switch. But when you put it into service mode, all you're doing is changing the position of that cam depending on where the shifter is. So when you're in neutral and in service mode, you can run the engine in neutral and service it. But when you're in forward or reverse and you're in service mode, it's like being in neutral in normal mode. It just disconnects the ignition start circuit. It clouds the neighborhood. Okay, you have if you are, one thing to check with your oil, if you are full of oil at the maximum line on a cold engine and you're driving the cart for, let's say, an hour, 20 minutes or whatever, excuse me, and you check your oil after you're done driving, the cart sits for a few minutes so it can all drain back down. And if you're down a lot of oil, then the engine is pumping it from the sump and burning it. Where? I don't know. I can't tell you without really diving into that engine. That's one of those things that I can't really diagnose it, because it can be coming from anywhere. Any of the oil passages that are leading back to the cylinder. It could be in the head. I mean, it could have bad valve guide seals. And if that's the case, then you're going to burn oil. Now, if it was burning oil, if it's constantly burning oil, a couple of things. Okay, so if it's burning oil initially on startup and then it goes away, then I would say it's definitely leaking past the valve guide seals. If it's burning constantly, then it's making it past the piston rings. Let's see. So 2000, what do you have? A 2004, I think you said, right? Because I know those motors went from, but the earlier motors were non-adjustable lifters, but then they went to hydraulic lifters. I can't remember which year that was, though, but I know some of them. If you pull the valve cover off and you don't see any adjustments for valves, then it's hydraulic lifters. Dun, dun, dun. Let's see. I have a 2001 Club Car Gas Kawasaki. That's what an old friend of mine used to call Kawasaki engines. I don't know why. Have replaced fuel pump and lines. If it sits overnight, I have to spray starter fluid in to get that. I personally don't like starter fluid. If it sits overnight, you should have. If you use the choke, it should start right up. That sounds like you don't have a choke. Okay, it has adjustment. You have the older Kawasaki engine then. I'm, like William said, I'm willing to bet valve guide seals or piston rings. Hey, car guy. Did more work on your 99 club car where it was hitting the rev limiter. Adjusted throttle back. Now it takes off nice. Stops, then takes off and runs fine. It still hits the rev limiter once. Yeah, it's one of those things where you got to kind of play with the adjustment on that until you get it just right. Exhaust port had chunky carbon. Well, that's because you're burning oil. That burning oil issue, if the valve guide seals are worn out, yeah. If they're wore out, the oil is going to seep past them and get into the cylinder, and naturally it's going to burn it when it's running. If the rings are bad, it's going to make it past the rings. And it's going to keep pushing oil up into the cylinder and burning it. And if it's clouding the neighborhood up like you're saying, you're burning a lot of oil. So you definitely have internal engine issues. Definitely, for sure. Where is my thingamajigger here? See, this doesn't even tell you. Oh, there it is. Okay. 37 minutes almost. How to prove the rings or seals? Take it apart. But if you're going to take it apart, you might as well replace them. When I purchase batteries for the cart, is the Trojan batteries worth buying, or do I get an off-brand name that is cheaper? That's really going to depend on what's available in your area. I personally don't like Trojan batteries. For what they cost, I exclusively install Crown batteries, made in America, in any golf cart that I do a battery replacement. I've had people come to me and say, can you install Interstate? Can you install Deka? Can you install this brand or that brand? And I say, no. If you want me to do the work, I'm going to install Crown batteries. It's what I exclusively use. I have a cart. A customer of mine has a cart. that I put Crown batteries in over 12 years ago. That cart is still running on those batteries, and they use that thing all the time. Summer, winter, it's always being used. It's got to have probably close to 500 or 600 charges on it, and it is still going. In fact, I have it over in storage. I don't like Trojan batteries. I've had nothing but bad luck with them. But it's your money. You can do whatever you want. It's your money. What battery do I recommend for 2005 Precedent? If you can get a Trojan, if you can get a Crown battery, put a Crown battery in. If it's a, did you have the gas? You had the gas one, right, Jason? If you have the gas cart, then any automotive battery will be fine. But for electrics, like I said, I prefer Crown. Well, I exclusively use Crown. I actually use Crown in the gas carts too, because I get them fresh. When I order batteries for a customer, I get them fresh from the factory. I don't get them, whatever's sitting on the shelf, I don't take. I get them ordered. So you are getting, from me, you are getting the freshest batteries when you buy them from me. I don't ship them though, so I can't do that. Can a choke go bad? Depends. Depends on the cart, depends on the situation. So you have the 2001 club car. I think 2001 club car, do you have, no, let me see. All right, so you have a 2001, so that's a DS. Do you have the push button choke? Or I think it's the push button choke. Yeah, the newer ones are the push button. I think it's the 98 and down is the knob. Okay, so if you have the push button, then yeah, there's a, let me see, hang on, let me think. They've changed these chokes around so many times, I lose track of what year is what. All right, so you should have a push button just below your left leg on the driver's side. And that should have a lever that goes into the airbox. No other mechanical linkages. If you take the airbox apart and you look and see if that flapper is working the way it's supposed to, it's basically just a little door that it presses against the intake. If that's not working correctly, then yeah, the choke's not working like it should. Okay, cool. I actually use Interstate in my motorcycle. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with Interstate batteries. There's nothing wrong with... There's really nothing wrong with Trojan batteries either for electric cars. I just don't like Trojan batteries. I've had a couple of them. A couple of carts with Trojan batteries, they just did not have the same runtime. They didn't have the same charge cycles as the Crowns. I've had Trojans last only like 5 or 6 years, where Crowns last way beyond their expected lifespan. But that's just my experience. Your mileage may vary. Gene, if you're having trouble getting your cart to start, I have a bunch of videos on cleaning carburetors. I would pull the carb off and clean it. There's probably a little bit of trash in there or some debris up in the main jet causing it to... Having issues hard starting is usually a symptom of a block carburetor. Could be a little bit of moisture in there too. Especially if you're using ethanol-based fuels, water will build up in the fuel if it sits. Yeah, Jason, if you want to use, I mean, you could really use any brand battery. I mean, I would stay away from the no-name brands and kind of stick with something that you know, especially if you use it in a lot of other equipment. I would definitely stick with what you have. I mean, Interstate, Deca. I'm not crazy about Decas or Deca, however you want to say it. They're deep cycle batteries. I've had nothing but problems with them in all of the Easy Goes over at a local golf course, a 9-hole golf course near me. They had all 48 volt TXTs, and they all had Deca batteries, and none of them would hold charge. And yes, they had watering systems on all of the carts. They were all charged after every day, or every night they were charged up. And there was always 2 batteries that would go in every cart. 2 random batteries that would go in every cart. And they always had full water, distilled water. Or it was deionized water, one of the two. I think they had a reverse osmosis system for watering. Let's see here. What did I miss? Kara, thanks for all your knowledge. You're welcome. Teaching myself about my club car to 97. There wasn't an air chamber on this when I bought it, and I only just learned it was missing something the last fall. Thanks for your videos. You're welcome. Yeah, you gotta have an air box and air filter on those, especially in dusty areas. Crown wins. I agree, Pete. Hi, Kevin from Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada. Wow. All right. Greetings from Pennsylvania, USA. Aren't all batteries made in 4 different factories, and the only difference is new or used lead in them? That I couldn't answer. I do know that I believe Crown has their own factory. Oh, Gene, you did buy a new carb. Okay. How about gaskets? Did you replace the gaskets? Are any of them torn? Are all of the gaskets there? That's the important thing. If there's any air leaks whatsoever, they will have a hard time starting. That's what I'm installing now. Okay, you have a 97 club car, Kara. Okay, those belts are a real bear to get on, the drive belts. If you're talking about the generator belt, they're pretty easy. You just got to be a contortionist to kind of get underneath the starter generator and loosen the bolts up. And then they slip on pretty straightforward. And what I'll do is I'll take a pry bar between the starter generator bracket and the starter generator, and I'll pry it. So it kind of like angles on that, or pivots on that bracket there, just to tighten the belt up. But the drive belt, yes, they are difficult to get on. You have to, basically what I'll do is I'll put the cart in neutral, and I try to grab the clutch, you know, being a contortionist, I'll try to grab the clutch and rotate it in reverse, and then roll the engine over by hand. Make sure the key is off when you do that. And it's in service mode. I think the 97 should have a service mode before you do that, and just kind of roll them over a little bit at a time. And then, yeah, the club car belts they have a really tight tolerance. They're hard to get on. I'm actually anal about my batteries. I have 6 battery tenders, 1 4-bank and 2 singles to keep my batteries happy during the winter. Yeah, I do too. I have battery chargers and maintainers everywhere. I have them everywhere. I try to keep all that stuff maintained. Batteries are expensive, and they're not built as good as they used to be. I don't care who makes the battery. They're just not as good as they used to be. I remember being a kid, we had a garden tractor. The battery in that thing was original for the first 15, 16 years of that tractor being alive. And then after that, we put a new battery in it, and then everything on it went to hell. So nothing is built like it used to be. It's unfortunate. Let's see here. Where we at? Oh, sorry, Jack. I missed you there. 97 club car runs fine. The previous owner had the rev limiter disconnected. Should I buy and install a new rev limiter? I found the brown wire was disconnected when I changed the oil. I'm going to assume... Usually people disconnect them. It's not really for gaining speed because, I mean, you will rattle that engine apart if you over rev it. Usually they're disconnected because they fail. And they won't run when they fail. They usually short to ground, which kills the ignition. And disconnecting it bypasses that safety. You can replace it. I'm going to suggest you replace it, but it's your cart. They're an expensive little piece, that's for sure. On gas carts, can you disable the oil injection and just use mixed fuel? Sure, if you want. If you well, the only one that really uses the the oil injections, the older Easy Goes. If you have that, I wouldn't disable it unless it's not working. Then it's 128 to 1. 128 ounces of gasoline to 1 ounce of two-stroke oil. I know what you're thinking. That's like, what? Everything else is 50 to 1 or 60 to 1. No, it's 128 to 1. I would just use the injector if it's working, though. Rarely do they fail. Usually, if the cable fails on those, they'll fail to full open by design. Starter 1 done, drive not playing. Oh, okay, you're talking about the drive belt. Yeah, the drive belts, they're a real bear. How would I know if I had a starter generator problem? 98 club car. You're going to have to go through a diagnostic process and get a voltmeter and check and see where power is starting and stopping. Start with the solenoid. If the solenoid is clicking and you have 12 volts on both sides of the posts, the large posts, and up at the starter generator, then it's possible the brushes are bad in the starter generator, or the generator itself has failed, or if there's no power after the large post that's connected to the starter generator on the solenoid, then the solenoid's bad. You guys are both welcome, Gene and Jack. Dun, 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 dun. All right, I'm going to take a couple of more questions here, and then it's 1 p.m. here, and I have to run. I have to go pick up the boom cylinder for my excavator. And motorcycle size does matter with batteries, but is there a size standard to carts? And if I'm correct, didn't you say in one of your videos it's supposed to be on the right sides? Golf carts, it's going to depend on the manufacturer. Club car has a... Yeah, 2 p.m., you're right. Did I say 1 p.m.? I was looking at the wrong... Yeah, I know. Thanks, Rob. Smart ass. The golf cart, gas golf carts, the batteries are a standard size, but they're not the same across all brands. Easy Go, I believe, uses a... Hang on, I'll tell you in a second. I actually have... the thingy... Oh, I can't access that. That sucks. I know the Group 24 or 24F is Yamaha. Group 26 is Easy Go, and what's Club Car? I can't remember. But the Club Car, all of the DS's, the battery, well, let's see, let me rephrase that. Is it all of the DS's? I'm pretty sure all the DS carts have the battery on the driver's side, and the positive faces is the closest terminal to the frame rail. Why? I don't know. I made rank of smartass. Yippee. I'm going to show that because that's just funny. I'm just joking with you. I'm not really trying to insult you or anything. I just thought it was funny because you called me out on my... Yeah, it's 2 o'clock, not 1 o'clock. I don't know. It's been a long day, and it's only 2 o'clock. But anyway, it really depends on the battery hold-down situation in the cart. Like the Yamahas have, at least the older G series, like G14, 16, and 22, I can't remember what the drives look like. I don't know why. I don't deal with a lot of them. I'm pretty sure they use the same hold down system, but I could be wrong. The hold downs, well, all right, not necessarily the hold downs, but the posts, it all depends on where the battery cables run to. Yamaha, I've seen two different batteries. There's a Group 24 and a Group 24F, where the positive and negative terminals are on the same side of the battery, but they're reversed. It's almost like a reverse polarity battery, but it's, if that makes sense. Where the Group 24, I believe the positive is on the left. If you're standing at the driver's side, standing on the driver's side of the cart, staring down at the driver's seat, and right by your legs is the battery. Looking at the top of the battery, the positive would be on the left, negative would be on the right, and the reversed one is just the opposite, where negative is on the left and positive is on the right. That's one of the big differences between the Yamahas. They use either one. EasyGo uses that Group 26, which has the side. Well, actually, I can't remember the group number for the front posts. No, that's the club car at the front post with the studs. Use the bolts on them. The EasyGos have the posts on the top, just like the Yamahas. And that's just a Group 26. You can get the adapters to change from the ring terminal to the clamps, those lead clamps. You can get those. That's what I do when I install those batteries in carts. I'll get the same size group battery, but I will get different post arrangements because those batteries that have the front posts on them, or the... Oh, see, I'm getting my batteries confused. I'm out of the game because it's been so long. Okay, let me start over because I got a couple of things wrong here. EasyGo uses the batteries that have the holes in the top posts where you can shove the bolt through, and the ring terminals on the wires. Okay, it's cheap on the front because you don't have to have a lead encased terminal on the battery wire coming off the cart. You could just use a ring terminal from anywhere. The club cars used the front terminals with the studs, where you have the stainless steel studs. I think it's a 5/8/16 or a 3/8 3. I can't remember. I have it written down somewhere, but I know I have the bolts for them, and they're only like a 3/4 of an inch long. They're not very long. They're on the front of the battery, where the EasyGos are on the top and the Yamahas are on the top. When I'm changing the battery out in the club car, when I'm changing the battery out in the EasyGos, I go from the top posts that have the holes in them to just a regular solid top post, because those are less expensive for the same group battery, group number, if that makes sense. I don't know where we were going with this conversation, but yeah. We're talking about the standardized. So the carts use a standard group number, but they're different across the different brands. Make a long story longer. All right, let's see here. You're going to be back later today. Are you talking to me? Probably not. No, I'm only going to do 1 or 2 streams a week until things start going back to work. I'm going to try. Let me rephrase that. I'm going to try to do a stream every 4 or 5 days, just to kind of answer more people's questions and maybe coming in, because I see a lot of people asking questions on a lot of different videos. It's just hard for me to sit here and answer all of them. Yeah, squirrel. To go through all the questions and answer them. It's much easier to sit here and kind of just interact with you guys. All right, I kind of lost where I was going here. But, okay, so, yeah, Jason, back to your thing talking about club car. It's a standard size battery across all the club cars. They all use the same size battery. I just can't remember what the group number is. I think it's... I can't remember. I can't remember what the group number is. I have it written down. I got all this stuff here. Let's see if I can find it. I'll tell you right now. Oh, wait a minute. I could tell you. It's on my phone. Give me one moment, please. Okay, it's probably not on here. Oh, well, there's my golf cart inventory, which I don't have very many of. Come on. Okay, maybe not. I know I have it somewhere. I think it might be on my external hard drive that I have disconnected at the moment. Let's see here. Club Car Precedent has 6 8-volt batteries. Yep, that's the newer, well, I don't know about the newest ones, but the newer Precedents went from 4 12s to 6 8s. Okay, putting a moto filter on, never been able to locate the air chamber and hose. Yeah, as far as the air filter on your cart, Kara, air filter. Just so has a air filter. It is, excuse me, it is designed to use the factory airbox and air intake system. Some of them won't run without the proper setup, so just keep that in mind. There's some club cars that just will not, they don't run. I think it's the older ones though. The newer ones aren't so finicky about that. Been trying to take and send pictures to you, but obviously no luck. Yeah, we don't take pictures on here, and there's no way to send them through our contact website, or contact page on the website. Oh, yours is on the passenger side with the positive in the front. Okay. I gotta find that. Hang on, I got my hard drive right here. Let me plug it in. I keep all of my stuff on here, so you can't hack this when it ain't plugged in. People try to steal. All of my stuff is backed up on my server, but that doesn't have internet access, so it doesn't have network access until I give it network access. All right, let's see. I know I could, if I give you the group number, you can go and say, I need this size group, this group size battery, and anybody that works in a battery shop or an automotive store or whatever can say, okay, group 70. Yes. Thank you, Jack. It is a group 70. That's the stock. Thank you. Jesus. I knew it was something like that. I'm going to confirm it. Okay, yeah, EasyGo is group 26. Club Car is group 70, and Yamaha is group 24 or 24F. See how easy that was if I just plugged in the damn hard drive? All right, let's unhook that now. Go away, go away. Disconnect. Eject passport. Safe to remove. Unplugged. Okay, good. Yes, so that's it. Do I ever install lift kits on carts? Yes. My Club Car 2000 DS has 2 different style hub bearings. One is with the plastic cap and the other one is with the metal cap. How do I know which one is the correct? Well, let's see. There is a good resource. I'll tell you right now. Oh, I think it's raining. So we're doing, let's see here. See, there's so much information for carts that there are some things that I don't know off the top of my head immediately, so I always have to look it up. But I'd rather look it up and give you the right information rather than guess. All right, let's see. That's not the right one I'm looking for. I believe it's the 01 and a half, 2001 and newer. that has the black plastic caps, and 2001 and down. I know they did a half year. I hate when they do that stuff, but they did. Is the plastic, I think. I can't remember now. I'll tell you in a second. Give me 1 minute. See, and it's getting even harder and harder. Yes, Mr. D is right. It's actually 03.5 and up is the 81 to 03.5 electric, and 96.5 to 03.5 is the metal dust covers. Hopefully that'll help you. Husky 268, 93 Easy Go, runs fine. Whoops, hang on. Runs fine on flat ground, but does not want to go up hills unless you have running start. Can you tell me what things to check? 36 volt. How old are your batteries? 93. Is that a resistor cart? I'm pretty sure that's a resistor cart. You could have a bad resistor, bad solenoid, bad battery cables. I actually had a customer of mine who was having trouble with his cart. He put all brand new battery cables on, and one battery cable had a break somewhere in the cable itself. And for the life of him, he couldn't figure it out. And I said, grab a voltmeter, put it on ohms, or, you know, continuity check. Check both sides of that cable. If there's no continuity, then you got a bad wire. And that's, it's rare that that happens, but it happens. Had to get my golf cart street legal is a pain in the ass. Yes, it can be, depending on where you live. Paying $600 a year for insurance as well. Wow. I don't even think I pay that for my truck. That's with full coverage. Mr. D, close enough. Yeah, I wanted to get the right numbers out there for him, so that way you know. Two-year-old batteries, and it is a resistor cart. Okay, yeah, I mean, you could have, it could be anything. I mean, it could be the, let's see, believe it or not, I haven't had many of those here. All of those carts have been crushed. I think I had one a long time ago. I honestly, I'm not 100% sure. I mean, I'm thinking it's definitely somewhere. It's somewhere in that resistor pack. It could be like what Club Car calls their V-Glide. It could be in that swiper assembly. It could be a bad solenoid. Could be a bad battery cable. Could be a bad, I mean, you could potentially have a bad battery. I've seen that. I've had brand new Trojan batteries be dead right from the factory. It's rare, but it happens. It does happen. All right, a couple more questions, guys, and then I'm going to call it. Oh, sorry, Kara. I just kind of like skimmed over you there. Been running until fall without a box, but I used seafoam as suggested. Now, smoking slightly now. Replace fuel lines, filters, install a new carb today. Once I can get dry belt on, hope it runs. Yeah, like I said, that dry belt, the Club Cars, it could be a real bear to get those stupid things on. You just have to kind of roll the engine over. I usually go backwards with it because it's just easier for me. I mean, if you're able to pull it and roll the engine forward, then that's easier. That sometimes works. But yeah, they're a bit tricky to get on. Some guys will take the drive clutch or driven clutch off the rear and then put the belt on and then slip it back over, but sometimes I find that to be more of a pain in the butt than anything. I just force them on. Because there is a bearing on the drive clutch, the one that's on the engine, that lets the belt freely rotate. And it's supposed to allow installing the belt a lot easier, but I find that it doesn't always work that way. You're welcome, Husky. Dun, 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 dun. Just kind of going back here, making sure I'm not missing anything. Yep, looks like we're good. All right, let's see. Thanks for your help, Kevin. Have a good rest of your day. You too, William. I think I'm going to call it here, guys. Like I said, I have a 2-hour drive ahead of me. I have to go pick up that boom cylinder for my excavator and get that installed and hopefully crush a golf cart. I know I teased that video a little bit teased crushing a golf cart in an earlier video. I haven't forgot it. Just have to do it. So, all right, guys, I'm going to call it here. This was a good stream. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Ring the bell icon so you're notified anytime I go live or upload a video. Like the video, like the stream. Obviously, hit that like button. Check out the links down in the video's description. I do have links to products I use, and I do make a small commission off that. It does help the channel out quite a bit, so I really do appreciate it. So, like I said, thanks for watching, and we will see you in the next one.